Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nirahai Saifanah Qatrunnada and my partner Keysha Nazalia Radiatujjahra. We are from Group 12, Class of 3C, English Education Department, University of Singaperbangsa, Karawang. We are here today to present you about British, American, and Australian accents. In these presentations, we have 6 contents. So the first content is, what is accents? The second one, British accents. The third one, American accents. The fourth one, Australian accents. The fifth one, the differences in accents. And the last one, we have the differences of British, American, and Australian accents. Please enjoy and keep watching. So the first speaker of this presentation is my friend, Keysha. So please, Keysha.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Keysha Nazalia Radiatujjahra, and today I will explain about accents. So, what is accent? Accent is one of the most fascinating aspects of speech acoustics. Accent variability within a language is a major source of limitation of the accuracy of unadapted machine speech recognition system. The performance of large vocabulary continuous speech recognition system fluctuates sharply with variation in accents, and will deteriorate when the input speech contains a strong accent, unseen a database on which the speech models are trained. Accents are different in pronunciation by a community of people from a national or regional geographical area or social grouping. Accents are affected by difference in the phonetic transcription and acoustic correlates of speech, including format and their trajectory, pitch trajectories, pitch nucleus, and duration parameters. An accent is one of the main factors that impact automatic speech recognition or ASR and text-to-speech synthesis or TTS. Input speech with a different accent from that the speech model can result in a significant deterioration in ASR performance. Hence, accent identification and modeling are essential for robust speech recognition. And for example, in some article journals, Arsan and Hansen point out that generally non-native speakers do not produce the same tongue movement as native speakers, but produce accent sounds based on learned habit of tongue movement of their native language, which implies that their format move with native language pronunciation. The difference in pitch and pitch trajectory in British and American accents are analyzed by presenting in. Accent evolved over time, influenced mainly by large immigration and social and cultural trends as well as the mass media. And for example, the Australian accent is considered to have been influenced by wave of mass immigration to Australia, and in particular by London Cockney. Irish pronunciation and relatively recently timed by American pronunciation. Similarly, the English Liverpool accent has been influenced by Irish immigration, whereas the Northern Ireland accent has been influenced by Scottish immigration. And the next material is the difference in accents. In general, accent can be affected by a number of factors, such as geographical variation, socioeconomic classes, ethnicity, sex, age, and cultural trends. Broad approaches to classification the difference between accents. In structural and synchronomic approach, model an accent is a system-oriented question in terms of the following systematic difference. Difference in phonemic system in phonotactics or structural distribution, in lexical distribution of words in phonetic or acoustic realizations. While in historical approach, the historical approach compared the rule of pronunciation in accent and how the rules change they evolve over time. Next is British accent. Technically speaking, British English is the mother of English. After all, if it weren't for British expansion and colonization, the Americas, India, and Australia would be very different place today. British English is considered to be the most complex of the five types of English. This particular English features grammar and spelling rules which are more difficult than those you tend to find, for example, in American English. Part of the reason for this is due to the standardization of the English language in the UK in the 18th century. It was during the 18th century France was considered the lingua franca of Europe, and France was perceived to be the epitome of high class and culture. In light of this, Great Britain wanted to showcase French influence in written English and in some ways allow for the upper classes to differentiate themselves from the lower uneducated masses. It's for the reason that you will find the whisper use of "s" instead of "z", such as in British accessories versus an American accessories, which bear similarity to how these same words are written in French, and you will even find words spelled exactly the same as in French, as in British is "aeon" versus American "aeon" versus French "aeon". To keep things simpler thought, a general rule of thumb to guide you into British English is that written dialect is meant to reflect the word etymology, and the United Kingdom has different accents in every region of the country, like Irish or English accent in Ireland. Then there is the Liverpudlian accent in the Liverpool area, and the latter is more often used by the royal, namely Wales, accent in Wales. British accent is not only used in the UK, This accent is also used by Commonwealth countries, as in the New Zealand. In this country, the language use also leads more to British accent. This is because it is said to be a city in New Zealand called Dunedin, inhabited by a group of immigrants from Edinburgh, England. The next accent is American accent. Out of all the forms of English, American is often touted as the easiest to understand today. Learning to learning to speak with an American accent is in high demand. Hence, students in Asia, South America, and other parts of the world tend to seek out America as an English tutor and teacher. The American accent evolved into a new dialect due to British colonies and immigrants from Germany, Africa, and the Netherlands. And accents are different in pronunciation. In comparison to British English, American English, American English grammar and spelling are also much easier to grasp. Again, it was English-speaking settlers from Great Britain who migrated to the United States, bringing their native language with them. But were it not for the American Revolution in 1765, we would all probably be speaking and writing a very different type of English. And the last accent is Australian accent. Australian Australian English is a regional English dialect that shares its phonemic inventory with Southern British English through historical links to English Isle dialect, or particularly London in the late and 18th and early 19th century. And today, Australian English speakers are usually born in Australia or who immigrated at an early age when peer influence is maximal. Such speakers fall into three main dialect subgroups, namely: first, Standard Australian English; second, Aboriginal English; and third is ethnocultural varieties of British Australian. Australian English is the dominant dialect spoken by most speakers. It is a permanent marker of national identity, and is used in broadcasting and public life. Aboriginal and ethnocultural varieties are minority dialects that allow speakers to express their cultural identity within the context of multicultural Australia. And that's all for me about the kind of accent that we know and we have learned. And for the next material will be presented by my friend to Nirahai. Welcome.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Nirahai Saifanah Qatrunnada, and I will present you the fifth contents, and it is the differences in accents. So, in general, accents can be affected by a number of factors, such as geographical variations, socioeconomic classes, ethnicity, sex, age, and cultural trends. Wells provides an excellent introduction to the linguistic structures of the accents of English language within and beyond the British Isles, Wells defines an English accent as a pattern of pronunciation used by a speaker for whom English is the native language, or more generally, by the community or social grouping to which he or she belongs. In general, there are two broad approaches to classification of the differences between accents. So the first one is structural and synchronic approach. So models an accent in a system-oriented fashion in terms of the following systematic differences: is differences in phonemic systems, differences in phonotactic or structural distributions, differences in lexical distributions of words, and the last one we have the differences in phonetic or acoustics realizations. So the second one is historical approach. Historical approach to accent development compares the historical roots of accents and the evolutionary change in sounds that accents have gone through as various accents merge or diverge. The historical approach compares the rules of pronunciations in accents and how the rules change and evolve over time. Okay, the next one is we will explain you about the differences in the phonemic system of accents. So most phonemes in American, British, and Australian accents match, but sometimes a phoneme in one accent can be matched by two phonemes in another accent, and vice versa, as described in J.C. Wells' article journal. For example, in British Received Pronunciations, or RP, the phoneme in stop, dodge, romp corresponds to in general American accents, or gename, but the same phoneme in cough, gone, and Boston corresponds to in general American accent. The next one is the differences in the phonotactic distributions of accents. Accents may differ in the environments in which phonemes occur. A prime example of this is the divisions of English accents into rhotic and non-rhotic accents. In non-rhotic accents, such as RP British, the instance of the phoneme R that occur before a consonant or at the end of a word are not pronounced, whereas in rhotic accents, such as General American, R can occur with an overt realizations in a wide variety of contexts. The next one is the differences in the lexical realizations of words, including phoneme substitution, deletion, and insertion. For example, tomato. Tomato is pronounced as in general American English accent, but as in British RP accent, and the word immediate is pronounced as in British RP and general American accents, but it is pronounced as in Australian accent. The last one, we have the differences in the phonetic realizations or acoustics of accent. The acoustic differences between accents of a language are due to the differences during the realizations of sound. in the configuration, positioning, and tension and movement of laryngeal and supralaryngeal articulators. The differences due to articulation are manifested in the differences in deformant trajectories, pitch trajectory, intonation nucleus, and duration parameters. Okay, so the next material is the differences of British American, Australian American accents, and Australian accents. Sorry for my bad. The first one, we have the spelling differences. So, spelling differences can also cause problems between American, British, and Australian speakers. But in this case, American English is the only strange one. Australian and English-British words are usually spelled the same, but American English has some differences. For instance, American English doesn't have a U in words like color, or we can spell it like C-O-L-O-U-R. Instead, it's spelled color, C-O-L-O-R. Sometimes the Z replaces the S in American English. You will see this in words like realize and organize. The next one, the R and E at the end of words such as center and theater were changed in American English to center, C-E-N-T-E-R-R, and theater, T-H-E-A-T-E-R. The last one, American English used only one I, one L, in words like traveled and traveling. So when it comes to pronunciations, actually certain vocabulary words and spelling, always think about where you will use your English skills. As long as others can understand you and you can understand them, you won't have any problems. So the most noticeable thing about the difference in spelling between British English, American, and Australian English is in the letter A with the letter R. In American English, the letter A is spelled as E in Indonesian. In some cases, sometimes the sounds become like A with an almost inaudible I and an obvious E heard. The letter R in certain words, especially when it is at the end of words such as diver and beer and so on, tends to be less obvious when pronounced, so that it sounds like diver. The E is also unclear, but still more clearly than R. And beer, and etc. British English, as with Australian English, pronounce E just as the letter E. What sets it apart from Australian English lies in spelling the letter R. If there is no vowel before R, then the letter R is not spelled. For example, a mushroom has the letter H And H is not a vowel but a dead letter before the R, then the R is not spelled. The British English also recognize the phenomenon of intrusive R, which is the letter R is deliberately added and spelled clearly between words ending in the vowel with the next word that begins with a vowel. And Australian English is the most obvious English in the pronunciation of the letters A and R. So here we have two videos to spell the accent, and please watch and pay attention to the following video. Okay, please wait a moment. Oops. Where is, okay, here we have.
Banana,
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 tomato,
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 water,
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 coffee,
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 dog,
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 shark,
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 zebra,
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 vase,
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 castle,
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 missile,
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 cookie,
biscuit,
biscuit,
candy,
sweets,
lollies,
sneakers,
trainers,
runners,
bell pepper,
pepper,
capsicum,
French fries,
chips,
hot chips,
pants,
trousers,
pants,
underwear,
underpants,
undies,
sweater,
jumper,
jumper,
flashlight,
torch,
torch,
check,
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 gray,
grey,
grey,
tire,
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 jewelry,
jewellery,
jewellery,
aluminum,
aluminium,
aluminium,
mustache,
moustache,
moustache,
airplane,
aeroplane,
aeroplane,
pajamas,
pyjamas,
pyjamas,
color,
colour,
colour,
Okay, that is the first video. We still have one video here. Yeah, it's from English with Lucy. You can learn the English from this YouTube channel, English with Lucy. Okay.
First up, we have Emma.
Hey there, I'm Emma from the English YouTube channel, coming at you from Perth in Western Australia.
And we also have Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa and I live in North Carolina in the US. I run the YouTube channel Speak English with Vanessa.
And I'm speaking with modern received pronunciation, so not everyone from Britain speaks like me, it depends where you're from. These are two fantastic teachers and I have left all of their information in the description box, so you should definitely go and check them out. We are going to look at 6 sounds, and for each of these 6 sounds I have included 5 example words, so you'll hear us say the words and then we'll look at how we pronounce them differently. Okay, we've got the first 5 words.
Tuesday,
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 YouTube,
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 tuna,
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 news,
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 duty,
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 duty.
duty. So you can hear that Vanessa does something called yod dropping. In British English and Australian English, these words have a y sound. Tuesday, tuna, duty, news. In American English, they often drop this y sound. It's called yod dropping. Tuesday, duty.
Tuesday, duty,
You can also hear when we join a t and a y sound, sometimes we blend these together to make a ch sound. And Emma does this when she says Tuesday, tuna.
Tuesday, tuna.
This is also common in British English. It's something that I do, especially when I'm speaking quickly. Can you give me some tuna? It's Tuesday today. Many people say this is wrong or lazy. It's not, it's efficient. Let's have a look another time at Vanessa saying what I call duty. Duty.
duty,
She says duty. So not only does she drop that y sound to make do instead of due, she also replaces the t sound with a d sound. And that's something we're going to look at a bit more later on. Emma also replaces the t with a d sound, but she doesn't drop the y sound. I say duty, she says duty.
Judy,
And that's funny because we do say Judy in English, but it only refers to the woman's name Judy. Let's have a look at the next set of words. All of these
Okay, so I will just I'm just giving you the example because of the time. So we will continue to the next material. You can watch the another words from the Lucy channel, okay? Okay, wait a moment. The next material is vocabulary differences. A strong accent in language can make things difficult, but the real problem is the differences in vocabulary and slang words. Combine several different accents and combine a lot of foreign slang words, and you will most likely have a bunch of Americans, British, and Australians who can't understand each other. Here are some of the vocabulary differences from the three accents. We have afternoon in British, American afternoon, and Australian half arvo. In British, petrol station, in American, gas stations, and in Australian is servo. In British, sweet or sweetest, in American, candy, and in Australian, lollies. The next word is, in British, it is mate or pal, in American, friend, and in Australian, mate. And the last one is flip-flops in British, flip-flops in American, and this is the funny one, thongs in Australian. Okay, so you have to be careful not to mix some of them. For example, in the United States, the word thongs will be used to describe underwear or G-strings, such as those found in lingerie stores. So the next material is idioms used. The differences between American, British, and Australian English do not stop at simply shortening spelling or vocabulary. They also have a list of idioms along with different understanding. For example, for the idioms for the birds that exist in British and British English have a different understanding or have a different understanding. British Americans understood it as stupid, silly, or useless, while British understood it as unimportant and it was an informal idiom. There are also some examples of other idioms that are typical of American English and are not found in other English versions. For example, bend over backwards to state something that is done with maximum effort, or smell or rat to state something that is suspected of not working as it should. The English idiom Australia also has a uniqueness compared to the English version of America and British. We can see this example of beat around the bush. For something or someone whose answer is too swirling, it takes two tango. It takes two to tango to explain two or more sides the interlocutor has to see, and don't give up your day job. To say someone can't do something he or she is doing. And the last material is how to shorten. British English abbreviates many subjects with appendage, such as we will from we will, you are from you are, from you are, and sometimes when speaking this can be heard as your, and math from mathematics and others. British Australian also condense a lot. However, British Australia has an even more unique accent. One common abbreviation in British Australia is good day, from good day, which is usually used to greet people when meeting. For example, good day, mate. Okay. Although British English is famous as English by speaking or accent that sounds rather heavy, it doesn't mean British English doesn't have abbreviations. The simplest example is the shortening of mathematics, which is slightly different from the English Americans, namely maths. just adding an S on the back. Math. Okay, so that's all the presentations of the British, American, and Australian accents from us, from me, Nirahai, and from Keysha. We are really sorry for our bad because we are still learning. And thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.